This call is now being recorded.
So good afternoon, students. Welcome in next lecture of Math F212 optimization. So today we will cover some questions of previous year question paper. So let us have this question. Keep all calculation in fraction only without using artificial variable, artificial constraint and graphical method. Develop the branch and bound tree for the following mixed integer linear programming problem. Minimize z is equal to 5x1 plus 4x2 subject to 3x1 plus 2x2 greater than equal to 5, 2x1 plus 3x2 greater than equal to 7, x1 greater than equal to 0 and continuous, x2 greater than is equal to 0 and integer. So first of all, this is the problem from mixed integer program. So here it is only the x2 is only the integer. It is a two variable problem. You can solve this by graphical method also, but it is given to you. Do not use the graphical method. So we have to go with the simplex table. So any simplex method we can use. So here, first of all, here even we haven't the optimal means we haven't the optimal table also. So first of all, we can write this as a minimize z is equal to 5x1 plus 4x2 subject to minus 3x1 minus 2x2 less than equal to minus 5, then minus 2x1 minus 3x2 less than equal to minus 7. Then we will add the here the select variable s1. Here we add the select variable s2. So 0 s1 plus 0 s2 and x1 comma x2 comma s1 comma s2 greater than equal to 0. Then we apply the dual simplex method. Dual simplex method. So with the dual simplex method means by any simplex method, whether the simplex method, uh, big M method, two-phase method, dual simplex method, revised simplex method, generalized simplex method, by any mean we can compute the table. So in starting, we have the S1, S2 as a starting basic variable. So from here we will see which one will be the leaving variable because we are applying the here the dual simplex method. So in the dual simplex method, first we decide the we decide the ask connect नहीं किया You otherwise इसको लेकिन मैं सुबह रोज तो कनेक्ट रहा हूँ आज ही नहीं किया वैसे. So here we have the S1, S2 as a starting basic variable. So we have the dual simplex method, right? So
The number you are trying to reach is currently busy. Please try again.
here the S1 and S2 as the basic variable. So on applying the feasibility condition, first we decide which one is the living variable. So here the due to the minus 7, it is the living variable. So in this case, we have the then we have to decide which one is the entering variable. For that, we take the ratio. So ratio is 2 and 1 by 2, 1 and 1 by 3. So this is the minimum ratio, right? This is the minimum ratio. So this will be the entering variable. So their intersection will give you the pivot element. So we make the pivot element as a 1, rest as a 0, rest as a 0. So we have the next table. In the next table also, we will see that it is not a feasible table. So here, this is the living variable. So when this is the living variable, then again we take the ratio. Ratio, only this ratio is possible, right? So here we have the, this is the pivot element. So we make it 1, we make it 0, we make it 0. So here we have the next table. So here you can see the table is feasible, as well as the table is optimal, right? Table is the optimal. So this is the optimal table with x1 is equal to 1 by 5 and x2 is equal to 2 and 1 by 5. Now in the question we have that x1 is continuous but x2 is integer. So due to the x2 is an integer, we have to take the branch over the x2. So when we take the branch over the x2, so x2 less than equal to 2 and x2 greater than equal to 3. So here when the x2 is less than equal to, x2 is less than equal to 2, so here we add the slack variable. Let's say it is the s3. So that we have to add x2 x2 plus s3 is equal to 2, that we have to add. So in this case, from the optimal table, in this case we add the s3 and we add the next constraint. So next constraint is 0 x2 plus s3 is equal to 2. But since the x2 is the x2 is a basic variable, so we have to make it 0. So when we have to make it 0, so we have the next line. So by the proper row operation, we have the we make it x2 as a 0, right? This we have made 0. So due to that, it will become the infeasible. So it will become the infeasible. So here we have to apply the dual simplex method. So dual simplex method means this is your living variable. So after the living variable, we take the ratio. So on taking the ratio, here we have only the one valid ratio. This, so minus 2 by 5 is the pivot element. So we make it as a 1 and rest as a 0. This is also, this is not, rest as a 0, rest as a 0, rest as a 0. So here we have the new table. So here you can see now it is the feasible, and here due to the minimization problem, this is the optimal. So after the change, this is our optimal table for the, for after adding the x2 less than equal to 2. Then second, on the other hand, in the right hand side branch we have the x2 greater than equal to 3. So here we can write at a minus x2 less than equal to minus 3, or minus x2 plus s4 is equal to minus 3, that we can do. So in this case, again, in the optimal table, here we have added the select variable s4, and here we have the select variable s4. So this is the 0 or minus x2 plus s4 is equal to minus 3. So now again, this we have to make 0 since x2 is the basic variable. So when x2 is a basic variable, so by the proper row operation we have made this as a 0. So due to this, right, it will become the infeasible. Already it is infeasible, but now again it is the infeasible. So due to the infeasible, this will be the living variable. When this is the living variable and we take the ratio, so only one ratio is valid. So this is your pivot element. So due to this pivot element, we have to make this 0, and this 0 we have to make. So here we have the this table. In this table again, this is the infeasible. In this table again we have the infeasible. So due to the infeasibility, now we take the ratio. So here ratio is not here, but this is your pivot element. So this is your entering variable, right? So here again we make it as a 1, rest as a 0, rest as a 0, rest as a 0. So we have the this table. So now we have the feasible. Now we have the feasible, and here we have the optimal. Here we have the optimal. So this is the optimal and feasible. So in this way we have the right, we have the solution. So when we have to draw the branch and bound, so first z is equal to, first we have the z is equal to 9 and 4 by 5, 1 by 5, 2 and 1 by 5. So here we have the z 9 and 4 by 5, x1 is equal to 1 by 5, and x2 is equal to 2 1 by 5. And here we take the branch x2 less than equal to 2, x2 greater than equal to 3. So for the x2 greater than equal to 3, here we have the solution, z is equal to 12, z is equal to 12, x1 is equal to 0, and x2 is equal to 3, x2 is equal to 3. And for this if you take, so here we have the 10 and 1 by 2. So 10 and 1 by 2, and here x1 is equal to half, x2 is equal to 2, x1 is equal to half, and x2 is equal to 2. So question is of, question is minimization. So when question is of minimization, so in this case you can see already we have the right minimization. So here we have the on both side there is no chance of the branch. So because of the question is minimization, so here we write the, this is the optimal value for the ILP. Clear?
Did we just eliminate the constraint because both of them were same?
Both were of them are.
Like the S4, both the basic variables were same and exactly same.
But I'm not getting what you want to ask here.
Sir, in this slide, in the first table, right?
Huh?
Third and fourth.
Yes. No, no. Third I have added, and in the fourth I have made the table as a consistent. Both are the same thing.
No, I'm saying, sir, basically both the rows are more or less the same.
No, no. This is denoting that x2 less than equal to greater than equal to 3, or minus x2 plus s4 is equal to minus 3. Since x2 is the basic variable should form the identity matrix. So to make the identity matrix, we made this as a 0 in this step.
Right, but if we make that 0 in that step, the fourth row and the third row would be exactly the same after that step. That is after we make it 0,
Uh-huh.
the third and the fourth row would be exactly the same. So that is why did we reduce the third and fourth row to a single row? That is what I was asking.
No, no. Actually, it is the this is the original row, and this is the corrected row. Both are the same thing.
Okay, fine, understood.
This is the original. Then after, for making the table consistent,
Okay, so this is the next step, right?
next step.
Understood.
Clear?
Yes, yes, yes.
The same thing we have done here also. S3 for the S3. So just here I'm covering how to solve the ILP through the tabular method. Most of the question we have covered the graphical method, but here I am covering how we can apply the post optimal analysis. Right? That part I am covering. So this is a very important question. Matlab. Online any problem? Chirag, Siddharth, Hardik.
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Now, let us have this problem. Question number third first, then we do the second one. An airline that operates 7 days a week has a timetable shown below. Crews must have a minimum layout of the 6 hours between the flights. Means it is the rest period. Obtain the pairing of the flights with base city that minimize layover time in minutes away from home. For any given pairing, the crew will be based at the city that result in the smaller layover. So here we have the flight number A001, A002, A003, A004. Uh, Delhi departure time is the 7 a.m. Mumbai arrival time will be the 9 a.m. And flight number B101, Mumbai departure is 9 a.m. and Delhi arrival is the 11 a.m. So the crew member who go from the Delhi to Mumbai, then they have to bring from the Mumbai to Delhi also. And you want the minimum layover time, minimum rest time of these crew member. So you have to decide uh, after which flight they have to with which flight they have to come back. So that is the problem. So in this case, so it is very important question. So here, question number 3, when crew is based at the Delhi, layover table will be, means if a crew member is going through the A001 and coming through the B101, so what will be the layover time? What will be the layover time? So here layover time will be, so he is reaching by 9 a.m. and starting with the 9 a.m. So I think obviously on the next day it will be, right? 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. नहीं. घंटे 24 घंटे में तो नहीं ठीक तो 24 घंटे में कितने मिनट हुए? 24 छिंग 144 ना?
1440.
हाँ ठीक है. So it is the in minute because they have given the question in to compute with the minute. So it is the 1440. Then if he is reaching by 9 a.m. and starting its journey from the 10 a.m. right? So 10 a.m. So it will be reaching by 11 a.m. and starting by the 10 a.m. So total we have the 11 hour. Difference will be the 11 hour, no? नहीं 21 hour. 21 into 060 करना कितना रहा? हाँ 23 hour into 60
1380.
वन नहीं नहीं 1140 होगा ना 24 into 60 दी एक मिनट अभी क्या कर अभी तो आया था क्या अच्छा
24 into 60 होता है 1440 and 23
ये तो
into
25 hour आ रहा है क्या चक्कर हो रहा है 102 प्लस 60 15 hour आ रहा है क्या डाटा में गड़बड़ हो रहा है 9 अच्छा 9 बजे पहुंचा और 10 बजे चला 25 hours करेक्ट so it is the online clear it is the 25 hours this difference is the 25 hours so 25 into 60 this difference is the 24 hour this difference is minimum 6 hour layover time we require so 9 and 3 so 6 hour is over so total it is the 6 hour 30 minute so 6 hour 30 minute will become 6 hour 30 minute will be 390 correct right it is the 390 then after it is the 9 a.m and 8 p.m more than 6 hour so it is the 12 11 hour 11 hour into 60 total the 660 minute so total be of the 660 minute clear then after now he is reaching by 11 a.m so 9 a.m from on the next days only so 11 and 9 so total 22 hours 22 hours into 60 22 hours into 60 it is the 1320 right then 11 into 10 11 and 10 11 and 10 so total 23 hours 23 hours is the 1380 11 into 330 11 into 330 मतलब 11 to 330 not 6 hour so when it is not 6 hour right so it will become how much 11 to 11 24 24 or 330 12 24 28 28.30 क्या करना 28.30 28 hours 30 minute into 60 28 hour
710.
so it is the 1710 so now clear how we are writing the time similarly if crew is based at the Mumbai then what will be the timing so he is reaching by the 11 a.m and he is to start by the 9 a.m so the difference is 22 hours 11 a.m and 9 नहीं 11 to 7 not 9 11 to 7 में कितना हो रहा है 11 to 7 means 20 hours
Sir, 11 a.m. right?
हाँ a 7 a.m of the next day तो 20 hours ना
हाँ
20 hours so it is the 20 hours so 20 hours into 60 so it is the 1200 then after 11 a.m to 9 a.m 11 a.m to 9 a.m it is 22 hours so 22 hours means 22 hours means correct it is 1260 नहीं 1140 1140 is correct ना
सर 22 hours में तो 1320 minutes होता है
अच्छा ये यहाँ आएगा ना ठीक है 1320 ठीक है ये this is 1320 we are means seeing the wrong column na it is the 1320 correct then we have the uh, 1 means 1 o'clock 1 and 30 o'clock so total time will be less than 6 hour So less than 6 hours, it means you have to take for the next day. So next day, so total it will be the 11, 24, 26.5 hours. So 26.5 means, check, it is 1590.
It's the 15 minutes.
So it is the 1590. So in this way, we have made the table. Now, from this table, if you combine these two, and we take the minimum layover time. So minimum of this and this. No, minimum of this and this is equal to 12 hour. Minimum of this and this is the 1320. So we have to write the all the minimum cell wise. We have to write the minimum by the cell wise. Then clear. So we have written here minimum cell wise. Now you apply. Now what is the Hungarian method for the assignment problem?
We first find the minimum in the row, subtract.
Subtract from the column. So minimum is the 390. So when we subtract the 390 from all, then we subtract the column minimum, right? So after that we have the following table, right? We have the following table after subtracting the row mean and column mean, and then we, right? So this is your optimal cell. So optimal cell. So here we have to take the flight schedule as a, right, A003, crew member from A003 will come back by the B101. The crew member of A004 will come back by B102, right? And here the means crew base stations are Delhi, Mumbai, Delhi, Delhi. So total layover time will be the 2430. So sometimes we have the problem like this also. So first we have to convert the given information into the assignment problem. Chirag, clear? Siddharth?
Yes, sir.
So it is important question.
So what are we assigning over here?
Means after which flight, means here this, just for example, A003 is coming. A003 is coming by the B10. The crew member who start his journey from Delhi are coming to Delhi by the flight number B101. The crew member who start his journey by the 102 will come back to Bombay by the flight number A004. The crew member who start his journey from Delhi, right, come back to Delhi by the flight number 103. The crew member who start his journey from Delhi come back to Delhi by the flight number 104. That is the. कुछ और डाउट ऑनलाइन, एनी डाउट?
No, sir.
Now here we have the Durite company is considering 3 new products to replace current models that are being discontinued. So their OR department has been assigned the task of determining which mix of these products should be produced. Management wants the primary consideration given to three factors: long run profit, stability in the workforce, and the level of the capital investment that would be required now for the new equipment. In particular, these are the goals. Means company decided the 3 goals. Now In particular, management has established now goal, they are saying now this, establish the goals of first achieving the long run profit net present value of at least $125 million from these products, the maintaining the current employment level of 4,000 employee, which it is the at most, and holding the capital investment less than $55 million. However, management realizes that probably will not be possible to attain all these goals simultaneously. So it has discussed the priority with OR department. This discussion has led setting the penalty weighted 5 for missing the profit goal, two, two for over employment goals per 100 employee, and 4 for going under the same goal, and 3 for exceeding the capital investment goal. Each new product contribution is a contribution to profit, employment level, and capital investment level is proportional to rate of production. These contribution per unit rate of the production are shown in the following table. So here unit contribution on the product. So here we have the three process and three product. So their contribution is given. Formulate the goal linear programming. Right. So first of all, we have to decide the variable. Let x1, x2, x3 be the by the production rate of the product 1, 2, 3 respectively. So from the given information, we have the 12x1 plus 9x2 plus 15x3 greater than equal to 125. So it is given to you 12x1 plus 9x2 plus 15x3 and at least 125, at least 125. Then after we have 5x1 plus 3x2 plus 4x3 is equal to 40, right, is equal to 40, because here 5x1 plus 3x2 plus 4x3 is equal to 4,000 employees, but here they have given the goal in terms of the 100, right, here they have given the goal in terms of the 100 employee, right, and if it is below above, then it is the 2 penalties 2, and if it is the below, then it is 2 and it is 4 for going the under the same, right. If you are employing more than 4,000, then the penalty is 2. If less than 4,000, then it is the 4. So in this case we have the goal as a is equal to, so in this case we have the is equal to 40, is equal to 40. Then from the third one, from the third one we have the 5x1 plus 7x2 plus 8x3, and it is given to you less than $55, less than $55. So this will come less than $55. So in this way we have written the constraint. Then after we have added the deviational variable, deviational variable, deviational variable, and always all the divisional variable we have to minimize. So in this case, the divisional variable which we have to minimize, that is this variable, because the constraint is of greater than type, because the constraint is equal to type, we have to minimize both. We have to minimize both because the constraint is of less than type. So we have to minimize this one. And weights are given to you, right? 5, 2, 4, and 3. So total problem will become minimize z is equal to 5s1 minus plus 2s2 plus 4s1 minus no 4s2 4s2 minus, right? 4s2 minus plus 3s3 plus, subject to, right, subject to following constraints. So this we have to solve. Any doubt, Hardik? Clear na? Online, Chirag, Siddharth.
Yes, sir. Clear.
So these are the some good question. One more last question.
Sir, in this question, that last table in your slide, why was it of the previous question?
No, table is not for the. It is for the assignment problem.
Okay.
Actually, they have there is no question mark, no question number. Na, I have just pasted here and there. Na, so that's why. Just to explain here, I have bought this question. So let us see question number 4th. Rest question you can do. For the given problem, fx is equal to x1 plus x2, subject to x1 square plus x2 square is equal to 1. Find the optimal value of the function using Lagrangian function. So what is the Lagrangian function? L of x, lambda is equal to what? Fx minus lambda gx. That is the thing. Illustrate the solution with the help of suitable figure in x1 x2 plane with axis limit x1 minus 2 to 2 and x2 minus 2 to 2. So in this case, question is clear. You have to find the minimum value. So in this case, question number 4, Lagrangian function Lx lambda will be the fx minus lambda gx. Fx is what? X1 plus x2 minus lambda. What is the gx? X1 square plus x2 square minus 1. Then we compute the del L by del x1, del L by del x2, del L by del lambda. So del L by del x1 will be the 1 minus 2 lambda, x1 is equal to 0. So this will implies that x1 is equal to 1 upon 2 lambda. Then del L by del x2 is equal to 0. This also implies that x2 is equal to 1 upon 2 lambda. Then del L by del lambda, that is the minus x1 square plus x2 square minus 1 is equal to 0. So here, if you put the value of x1 as 1 upon 2 lambda, here you put the value of x2 as a 1 upon 2 lambda. So that will give you x1 x2 as a plus minus 1 upon root 2. You just check. So it is the minus will not come. So means x1 square plus x2 square is equal to 1. Right. So it will become 1 upon 2 lambda square plus 1 upon no 4 lambda square 4 lambda square is equal to 1. So it will become 1 upon 2 lambda square is equal to 1, or lambda square is equal to half. So lambda is equal to plus minus 1, plus minus root 2, right? Lambda is equal to plus minus mm, yes, plus minus root 2. That plus minus root 2, if you will 1 upon plus minus 1 upon root 2. So when you put here, so that will give you plus minus 1 upon root 2. Clear? So stationary point will be either minus 1 by root 2, minus 1 by root 2, and 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2. So when we put this stationary point in the in the f, so you will get the value of the f as a minus 2 root 2, right? And plus 2 upon minus 2 upon root 2, or plus 2 upon root 2. So naturally this is the smaller value, we say it is the minimum, and for this value we say it is the maximum. Important here, we have to show by the diagram. So here if you will observe on the right hand side, this is the curve of x1 square plus x2 square is equal to 1. It is a circle. Over the circle we have the objective line. Objective line is what? X1 plus x2. This is the x1 plus x2. Now on this side it is the x1 plus x2 is equal to 2 upon root 2. It is the line of x1 plus x2 minus 2 upon root 2. That is the minimum value. So at this point, at this point, and at this point, we have the coordinate 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2. Here we have the coordinate minus 1 by root 2, minus 1 by root 2. So means over this constraint, the objective function takes the minimum and maximum value as 2 upon root 2, 2 upon root 2 at the point 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2, minus 1 by root 2, minus 1 by root 2. That is pictorially we have explained here. So it is a little different type of the questions. Clear, Chirag?
Yes, sir.
Siddharth?
Yes, sir.
So some good question we have covered.
So if it was not the case of the diagram, then we would have to take the second derivative right, to figure out whether it is maximum or minimum. No, I mean the
No, for Lagrangian, there is no need to say second derivative. We haven't the sufficient condition in the Lagrangian. Just we find the stationary point, and by putting in the value, we decide that it is the minimum, it is the maximum. For the Lagrangian, we have not. We have the sufficient condition, but here we have not covered. That is not in the course. That is it little typical, so we are not covering that part.
what was that? We used to find the Haskell and from that.
No, nothing you have to do. Just you have to find in case of the Lagrangian, you have to compute the only the stationary point and put in the f. If it is the lesser value, say it is the minimization, and if it is the upper value, it is the means maximum means greater value. Then we say it is the maximization.
What was then that Haskell giving?
Hessian means Hessian will decide in case of the means quadratic equation. For the quadratic equation, you have to. For the KKT condition, you require. Wherever we require the Lagrangian, there we do not require. Means Hessian we use for the Lagrangian also, but here it is not in course. So you have not to check the second derivative in this question. Just by putting in the value of the f, you have to decide whether it is the minimization or maximization. Because Lagrangian first derivative test will give the stationary point. So I think now every means good question I have already covered. So if you want, this is the I think paper of 17. So you can, for practice, you can see this paper. I'm scrolling little slowly so that you can, in the video it will come and you can read later on. So it is a comprehensive paper of the so later on you can so these are the question for the quiz. By pausing the video you can read this question, right? So this is the solution. Online clear?
Yes, sir.
You can go through like this, na, whole paper. So
Yes, sir.
some practice question you can get. And this is your subjective question, subjective paper. So first question from the post optimal analysis, second question from the goal, third question from the ILP, integer linear programming problem, fourth question from the non-linear programming, fifth question from the quadratic, and sixth question from the GA. This is the solution of the first question. This is the in continuous of the first or second. So this is for the fourth and fifth. So this is a very good question, quadratic programming problem. You can go through with this. And this we have covered in the class also. So that is the last question. Right. If you feel any doubt, you ask me. So this is the last class. If you feel any problem, you can ask from me directly. All of you have the my mobile number also. Now you can go to collect the quiz paper.